How's it going, everyone? Well, first off, welcome to the first episode of my FE501 build series. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about this Adventure Spec Mini Fairing. I'm going to show you how to assemble it and then also how to mount it to the bike. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my thoughts and reasons for going this way instead of a full rally mount. And also 2 issues I came across trying to install this thing. Alright, so beautiful DHL box, yellow, reminds me of high-end iPhone packaging. Not really, but anyway, it works, I guess. So we've got the wind deflector here, a universal one apparently, and we have the actual mount, the handlebar mount, and the little tower part, I guess, that you mount all your GPS and stuff to. Alright, let's open these now and see what's in here. Alright, let's start with the fairing. Alright, this is the hardware that comes with it. I guess you could make your own if you wanted, but I think the time and effort that it takes to mount it yourself and everything, you might as well just buy theirs, to be honest. There we go. Comes with a little manual. Pretty simple. But this is the part I'm really interested in. The actual mount. Okay, again, some hardware. Another bag. Rip it and grip it. Oh yeah, super light. I didn't realize they were plastic. Is this plastic? I think so. Okay. Alright, that's definitely metal. The actual handlebar mounts are plastic. Well, I guess that's good, keeps the weight down. Alright, looks pretty simple, he says. Alright guys, let's put it on the bike. Enough of the package unveiling. Let's get it on the bike. Alright, the first thing in the manual, got to follow the manual. The first thing it says is to attach the little GPS unit mount, I guess, to the actual base plate. Now, I use one of these RAM mounts, and I guess I should put that on first. Before attaching that to there, let me attach it to the plate. I think that'll save me some grief later. So I'm going to quickly attach that now. Okay, and there you go. It's all done. Alright, next step, we're going to mount this to the base plate, and it's pretty simple and really nice hardware actually that they provide. Everything is a Allen key head. So just those 4 there. And then you have your washer and even lock nuts, obviously, to stop and help with the vibration. Okay, and then just your 8mm spanner. I think it's a 3mm Allen key. We'll just tighten it up quickly. Alright, they're all on there. Now it's time to mount the plastic arms. Side arms here, these plastic ones, got nice little slotted holes over here and here. And they just attach straight to the Adventure Spec base plate on the sides. Now, the new hardware here for this, it's a 10mm for the nut and 4mm for the Allen key head. So I'm just going to go ahead and put one on there, a washer and the little lock nut. And I'll do the other side while I'm at it. Now I'm not going to I'm not going to tighten it too much because they have little those little slots I was just showing you before. I have an inkling that that sort of plane adjustment, if you can see it now, let me make it a little bit easier for you to see. See, there's a little bit of a plane adjustment there. I'm just going to leave them sort of loose for now, just in case I do need that adjustment for some reason. I don't want to be untightening it. I can just position it the way it needs to be, and then I can decide later and tighten it up. Alright, and there you go. That's what I'm going to be staring at for a few thousand kilometers on every trip. Looks pretty good, to be honest. Real nice quality. Nice little Adventure Spec logo up there too. And plenty of places for your 12 volt if you want to run them. Nice. Now let's get onto the bike. Alright. Okay, now we have the exciting part. I've just unclipped my front headlamp plastic from my forks just to give me a little bit more room in here. And that basically just mounts here. I've also removed my ignition switch, my aftermarket ignition switch. I'm hoping it'll just actually clip in here. Might be kind of cool to actually have a switch up there. We'll see if that works. Otherwise I'll mount this back onto the handlebar. The little clamps it comes with, this is the 28 millimeter one, so for the oversized bars that come on these Enduros, you can also get the 22 millimeter one, and they just clamp on there and hold it on. So it's just 4 more Allen screw head bolts and a 5mm Allen key. That's what I was meaning to say. Now the one thing I'm not sure about these is the fact that I guess it's a plastic thread. So I'd be very careful when mounting this to make sure that you don't strip the threads. So I don't think there's any coming back from that. You're going to be having to re-drill the plastic threads. Again, if you're tightening them and they're getting tight straight away, back it out. Don't risk stripping these plastic threads, I guess. Yeah, sweet. That's really awesome, actually. Still a lot of visibility for the Speedo in its stock position. You could probably raise it a bit if you wanted, but I'll tilt it a bit. Looks pretty good. So next step, I guess, I'm going to put the fairing on front. But I guess you might actually even be able to just run it like that. I've seen a lot of the desert races and that, just riding their bikes with no actual screen or anything, just the hardware to mount all their GPSs. So I guess it's possible. Okay, jumping around here, we have the screen. So this is an optional extra. I think you can get it bundled or you can buy one or the other separate. I got it bundled and they had a special on when I bought it anyway. But the only real assembly here needed is just this bracket, and then you can go put it straight on. And so you just have this little mount here that slides on, so you can attach it to the back like so, and that's just going to sit there at the back. So one of these 4mm Allen key, and that's all the pre-assembly you need to do on this one. Again, I'm not going to do it too tight just so I can align it in case. Alright, there you go. Done and done. I'm going to go put it on the bike now. Okay, so using the same hardware again with the 4mm Allen key, and this time it's a 10mm for the nut, and just using 2 of the washers, it's pretty simple to attach this. And it really does seem, the more close I am to putting it all together, I think it's going to be a pretty quick dismount. If I just want to take it full enduro, say perhaps I'm going to the desert and I'm just following riders, not having to navigate, I think it would be pretty quick. Probably take all of 2 minutes to take this off, changing from adventure mode, I guess, into more so just enduro mode. Done. Okay, I'm going to put the lower mount in now. Again, this is just the same bolt, and this time it comes in from underneath. This is where it feels a bit weird though with this one, because it's actually quite tight. It seems like that bar maybe is, I guess it's all flexible, but that bar is definitely not long enough. You're going to be finding that you're going to bend this a little bit to get it to mount, which isn't really a problem. But there you go. Again, I guess you can adjust this to whatever point you want. It's going to look at some point a bit weird because this front is going to be on more of an angle than vertical. It's going to be pushed forward. I think for the best looks you probably want it to be just off vertical, slanting backwards. But I guess it also depends on where you want your display and how easily you want to be able to see it. I reckon I'll probably run it a bit more forward. So yeah, that's the installation. Pretty easy, just a few bolts and nuts, and it goes on quite nicely. Well, thanks guys for watching this video. I hope you sort of got a gist of how it goes together, or perhaps it's helped you put it on your bike. So the 2 issues I had that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have preload adjustments on my shocks here, my forks, and the arm mount here was actually interfering with it. So I just had to loosen the suspension triple clamp bolts, and just twist the suspension a bit to give it a bit more clearance, and that took about a minute to do. The other issue I had was that I run an aftermarket ignition switch, because this FE501 in Australia, they don't come with ignition switches, and it was mounted up here on the bar, and obviously it was interfering with the arm as well. So I had to mount that to the side of my headlamp. That just involved drilling out a little bit of the plastic and mounting. That probably took me 10 minutes. But because this is a universal product, you might run into 1 or 2 issues like that, but really not big issues. It fits perfectly. So I guess the next thing is, why did I buy this product instead of a full Rally Raid version? Well, I learned a little bit from my WR250R ownership, where I made that rally fairing for it. And I guess that took about 10-15 minutes to mount or dismount. And I found when I went on adventure rides, I'd use it for the wind deflection and to be able to run the pad. But then when I went and did more dual sport stuff, I felt like it got in the way. I didn't have that sense that I was on a small light bike anymore. It still felt like an adventure bike, and so I'd take it off. And that's where this comes into its own, because 4 bolts and it's off. So in 1 minute I have this whole thing off, put it in the garage, go out riding, and then if I have an adventure ride, quickly chuck it on like it is now. And I'm even going to play with the idea of not running this fairing on the front and just having it as a GPS mount. So when I'm in the desert and things like that, I'm not really too bothered about the wind deflection because I'm standing up and moving a lot. I'll run that. So really 3 ways you can run this. Now, one thing, I know it's not the best looking fairing at all, this front, universal thing, and depending on what angle, it doesn't really look right. But the functionality, I think, of the Adventure Spec Mini Fairing, I think it outweighs the looks, really. I know those big towers look great, but those towers also cost about $2,000, where this delivered, I think, was about $200. The only other thing was the plastic arms. I thought they were going to be billeted aluminium or something like that, but when you look at the size and you consider how much aluminium they'd be using there, I reckon this would be a lot more expensive if they didn't use the plastic. And in saying that, I'm going to run it for a year or so, and then I'll give you a review of it and see how it's lasted and if I still have it. But thanks for watching this first video in the modified series of this FE501 build, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Mm-hmm.